Chicago, 1893. The city burned once, but now it blazed with light. White columns, electric bulbs, and the promise of a new century glittered along the lakefront of the World's Columbian Exposition. Visitors gawked at Daniel Burnham's White City, but the real marvels were hidden in the shadows. Among the crowd stood Elias Thorne, 27, a structural engineer from Boston. His spectacles caught the glow of the new electric lights, but his eyes were fixed on something else: the Ferris wheel, the greatest machine of its time and a symbol of everything he wanted to build. In his coat pocket were blueprints for a revolutionary steel suspension system, the kind that could lift humanity higher than ever, or bring the city down. That same night, a thunderstorm broke over the exposition grounds. Beneath the Hall of Transportation, Elias met a woman who would change the course of his life. Alva, the Dynamo Hayes, an African-American electrical engineer whose inventions, improvements on Tesla's AC motor, had been stolen by J.P. Morgan's Electrical Trust. She was small, quick-eyed, her fingers stained with copper and oil. She spoke in voltages and blueprints, not in pleasantries. "They think they own the light," Alva said, as lightning tore open the sky, "but they don't own the mathematics." That night, as the White City went dark under the storm, Elias and Alva made a pact. They would not fight for fame, but for control of the invisible systems that powered America's progress. Their handshake, one calloused by steel, the other by wire, sealed a partnership that would last 40 years. 4. The War Machine, 1914 to 1918. The Great War turned America into a factory of death. Elias, now the nation's chief civilian engineer, built military camps, rail lines, and ports. Every structure was a weapon of logistics. Alva revolutionized naval communication, inventing secure wireless relays that saved convoys from disaster. Then they discovered another plot: steel barons, again led by Vance's circle, selling brittle alloys for ship hulls. A single crack could sink a fleet. Elias calculated the exact stress point where failure would occur. Alva ensured the test ship faced those conditions. The steel snapped, precisely as he had predicted. The saboteurs were ruined, silently and completely. Victory came, but hollow. They had saved lives by mastering death's equations. The war ended. The world cheered. Elias and Alva went home, not as heroes, but as ghosts behind the glory. 5. The Roaring Facade, 1919 to 1929. The 1920s roared. Towers scraped the heavens. Jazz filled Harlem. America believed itself immortal. Elias built skyscrapers taller and safer than ever, but he saw danger in the numbers. The stock market, he realized, followed the same rules as a steel frame. The stress loads of speculation exceeded the foundation of real production. Alva founded the Hayes Institute for Applied Technology in Harlem, training women and minorities in mathematics, radio, and computation. She understood that the next century's power would flow through information, not copper. In 1928, Elias plotted the economy like a building. His graph ended in collapse. "The foundation isn't load-bearing," he told Alva. "They'll never believe you," she replied. "Then they'll fall." They sold their holdings quietly, preserving the Institute's funds. On Black Tuesday, the market imploded exactly as Elias had predicted. Skyscrapers still stood, but their owners jumped from the windows. Elias turned away from the skyline he had helped raise. We built the structure, but not the soul. 4. The New Deal, 1930 to 1939. America was broken. Dust storms devoured the plains. Factories stood silent. Millions starved. President Roosevelt called for a new kind of builder, one who could heal instead of exploit. Elias and Alva returned to work, older, warier, but still unwilling to surrender to despair. Elias helped design the massive hydroelectric dams of the Tennessee Valley, ensuring they provided not just power, but stability, water, jobs, and pride. He insisted that laborers be paid fairly and safely. Alva designed the electrical grid that brought light to the nation's darkest corners. Wooden poles marched across fields that had never known current. For the first time, America's poor could read by lamplight and cook without coal smoke. We gave them power, she told Elias, not the kind that kills, the kind that lives. But as the decade waned, darker forces stirred again. Across the ocean, new empires rose, mechanized, weaponized, hungry for domination. Alva's research into signal systems caught the eye of military scientists. Elias saw government men studying his dam blueprints for something else: containment, blast resistance, the language of atomic energy. Standing on a dam at sunset, Elias said softly, "We've built the foundation of a future neither of us will live to see." "Then let's make sure it remembers us," Alva replied, "even if it doesn't know our names."